Okay, they want us to write the numeral preceding 330 base 4 in base 4. Okay,
Wait,
well, let's think about what they're asking us. Well, what is 3304 in base 4?
pause. I'm writing this.
So what is 330 in base 4? Well, what is base 4 again? Here's how I like to think of it. This is 4 to the 0. This is 4 to the 1. And this is 4 squared. So there's 0, 4. So that number is 1, that number is 4, and that number is 16. So there's 3 16s plus 3 4s plus 0 1s. That's what that number is. So that numeral is just, let's see, 45, 46, 40. Is this 48 plus 12 plus 0? That number is 60. Okay? Now, we didn't actually have to write that, though. We don't have to write 60 because they're not asking us what is the numeral. They're asking us what is the numeral preceding that numeral in base 4. So if I want to get rid of 1 in base 4, it would be really easy if this number was a 1 or a 2 or a 3. Because then I would just subtract 1 from it and I'd be done. But it's not a 1, a 2, or a 3, it's a 0. So how do I go 1 less than this? Well, I have to take 1 away from here. And if I take 1 away from there, that would be a 2, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to add 2 more. Taking 1 away from there, let me rewrite this. 3, 2, I took 4 away, right? By changing that from 3 to 4, or from 3 to 2, I took a 4 away, right? It's like subtracting 4. So now I have to add 3 back. So what's the number right before 330? 323.
I don't understand how you got that.
All right, let me do a simpler example. What if they said, what's the numeral preceding 331 in base 4? What would come right before that if we were listing them out? Well, all I'd have to do is subtract the 1 away, right? I just would have to get rid of this one right here. Because that represents the ones place, right? So 1 less than that would just be 330, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and 1 after that would be 332. That would be really easy if that was the number they gave us. But they gave us 330. So what comes right before 330 if you're listing them out? Well, you're going to have to...
Fine.
It is not 339 because 9 is not a digit. What are our options? In base 4, what are our options? 0, 1, 2, or 3. So it's not base 10. We're not doing base 10. We're doing base 4. So you have to think differently about it. So I'm going to borrow, basically what I'm doing is I'm borrowing one of these. And remember, that's the 4, that's the 4's place, right? So I have, this is like, right, I have 3 4's, right? So if I make that 2, now I just took away what?
1.
I took away 4. If I make this number, if I make that number, I haven't filled this one in yet. If I make that number 2 instead of 3, what I just did, as instead of having 12, I have 8. Right? Because 2 times 4 is 8. So changing this number from 3 to 2 takes 4 away from the number. But I don't want to take 4 away from the number. I want to find the number preceding it directly. So I have to add 3 back. How do I add 3 back? I put a 3 in the ones place. So now my number is 3 times 16 plus 2 times 4 plus 3 times 1. You can't make this a 9 because we're not in base 10, we're in base 4. So 9s don't even exist in that base. Let's just keep going and hopefully you'll understand this. What if I say, let's take, what's the number before that? How would I write the number before that? 3, 2, 2. Because all I had to do is take away one number. And it's easy to take away 1 if you've got 3 in the ones digit, in the ones place. What's the number right before that? 3, 2, 1. I just took 1 away. Because this is 3 times 16 plus 2 times 8 plus 1 times 1. I'm sorry, I said 8, I meant 4. 2 times 4, 1 times 1. All right, let's try a different way to explain this. Let's just go back to our tens. Our tens is easy because we do it all the time. What's the number before 473 in the tens digit? What's the number before 473?
Hold on.
It's 472. But what if I said, hey, what's the number between 470?
469.
Why did you change this to a 6?
Huh?
Why did you know to change that to a 6?
Because, I grew up learning base 10 system, not base 5.
That's exactly right, because you're familiar with it. But notice the pattern. Notice what you're doing. You're taking, since there's nothing to take away from the 0, there's nothing to take from the ones unit, you have to borrow, basically, you have to borrow one of the tens. So you turned it into 6 tens. Now I only have 6 tens. Right? So I'm changing this tens to 6. And what is the 0 change to? It changed to a 9. That's what you did. Now you don't think of it that way, but that's essentially what you did. You're basically changing 70 to 69. You're taking 1 away from the tens, and you're adding 9 more to the ones to make up for the 10 that you took away. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's exactly what we're doing with this number. We can't take 1 away from the 0 here because there's nothing to take away from the 0. So we have to borrow from the 4's place, not the 10's place, because we're not in the 10. We're in 4. We're in base 4. So we have to borrow one of the 4's. We change that 3 to a 2. But if we do that, we have to add back 3 of the ones that we took away. We took away 4, and we're adding back 3. So in total, we only took away how many? We only took away 1. Just like I did up here. Just like right here. When I had 470 and I wanted to take 1 away, I don't have 1 to take away in the ones unit. So I have to take away 10. When I changed that 7 to a 6, I just took 10 away from that number. So now I have to add 9 back to it. In total, what did I take? I took 10 away, but then I added 9, so I really only took away 1. That's what I'm doing here. I'm taking 4 away, but I'm adding 3 back, which means I only took 1 away in total from that number. The number was originally this number. Doesn't even really matter what it was. What did we say it was before? It's 3 16s plus 4 3s plus 0 1s. That number was 48 plus 12. That number was 60. And now this number is 59. Now you could have just done it that way. You could have figured out that number and then been like, all right, well, what's 59? Well, 59 is, and then go back through and you would find that 59 is this. 3, 2, and 3. But that's not what they want you to do here. They want you to think through it and see the pattern of it and recognize how base 4 relates to what we know, which is base 10.